Hi. Um, I wanted to kind of I didn't want to leave our little series that we had rolling. I didn't want to leave it hanging. Um, I'm off center. It's going to make me nuts. Okay. So I wanted to just recap everything that we've talked about and kind of give you some tips on if you get stuck in any of these barriers, how you could maybe move past them. So first, we have to remember that all of this started because we didn't feel like we deserve love. Um, we feel like we're broken, we're bad people. Um, you you just don't even take time to heal because you know you don't deserve it. Somehow, like you're aware of the concept of self-love and self-care and healing, but that's for other people and people who aren't as bad as you. And I need you, or you need you, to put that all aside and let that go because it's not true. And we just need to work on healing. So give yourself grace, give yourself compassion. Remember, I said, look at it from the perspective of if you were someone that you love going through something, give yourself that same compassion that you would to them. Give yourself the same grace, and just go from there. Just understand, even if you don't feel it right now, understand that you do deserve love and you do deserve to heal. This is your life and you are meant to enjoy it. Okay, that being said, the first potential barrier that we identified was you could not even be aware that you're holding on to something. So you've buried something and you don't even realize that you think that you've dealt with something or it's not an issue anymore, but in reality you've only partially dealt with it or just acknowledged it, but it's buried. So to that, I would remind you to observe your emotions and watch for triggers. Watch for a big reaction to something um, that shouldn't have caused that type of reaction, and see if you could trace that back to what is this bringing up in me and why am I feeling like this, so that you can revisit that. If you want to get a journal or however you want to keep track of these things. Second, we sometimes know that something's stuck, but we don't want to feel it. If that comes up, just remind yourself that healing, although it can be a not so pretty process, is necessary and the results are so worth it. It's better than being stuck in this, ick all of your life. And I thought of something today, so being not healed, we still cry about stuff. I would get, oh my gosh, it made me so mad. If I got mad, I would cry. And then I felt weak. And then things would kind of set me off. And I would still cry and still feel like crap. I feel like now let's, spend those tears on ourselves. And, if we're going to cry anyway, at least make it worth something and make it count towards healing. So it's not that we're avoiding all bad feelings by not allowing this pain to come up. We're still having bad feelings. So it's really not worth it. So let's make them count for something, is my point. Then we talked about the fear that the feeling can't get out because it's too big. And yes, these things that we've held in for so long, they compound and then they cause reactions that we feel shame for, and then it just all builds up, but it has to come back out. So I would say to that, find ways to move your energy. Think of these emotions as this dense energy that just wants to just sit and just be this big cloud. And you need to find ways to shake it up and move it out. So some of the ways that you can move energy is singing, exercising. Qigong is a way to move energy. I mean, any exercises, but if you want to look into Qigong, Tai Chi, a lot of times they'll have exercises that are geared towards, moving a particular emotion. Of course, yoga, that can really help you connect and get into your body. Cry. If the need to cry comes up, let it out. Don't bottle up, more on top of whatever is already in there. Move that through. Just let it out. Guided meditations can help you. I found when I first started meditating, well, first of all, I would give up immediately because I was like, I can't do it because I just had a thought. So I was like, this is not for me. I can't do it, because we all think we have the busiest brains and we're the only ones who cannot learn to meditate, right? So a guided meditation can be helpful with that, so that you're not just, as soon as you have a thought, like, never mind, you can kind of hook back onto the voice of whoever's narrating, or you can use breath work. I know I've mentioned that several times, but breath work, and I don't mean like, okay, that was good. I mean, because same, I used to think, well, I took 5 deep breaths, I should be good now. Like real, true, like somatic breath work. There's so many like different techniques. I think I've talked about, I know I've talked about box breathing, which is the 4 in, hold for 4, 4 out, hold for 4, that whole box, literally. Alternate nostril breathing is something that can get you back into your body and can balance both sides of your brain. So those are just some beginning pointers that you might want to look into and see what calls to you. That's what this path is really about, like being in the moment and feeling what feels right. Like in that moment, and if that's where it comes back to like quieting your mind and being able to listen to this, this intuition to see like, what do I need and where should I go next? And it will come. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. And then remember, like, let it out gradually. It's not going to all come out at once. And like I said before, we're spending tears anyway, or or crying anyway and feeling crappy. We may as well like make it count, I think. Then last night we talked about, you stop before you even start, because you think, I can't even like, this won't work in my life, because maybe your life has been structured that you're worrying about and protecting everyone else and not giving a thought to yourself. So you just think, I can't do it anyway. Like, there's no point. But think about the reality of that, like the rest of your life. And now you have this heightened awareness, and it's very uncomfortable. You can't stay stuck like this. It's no good. I keep getting a picture of, like, imagine you're like a flower seed in a sidewalk crack. And you're kind of like growing, and you're like, oh, this isn't comfortable. I don't belong here anymore. And you try to go out, and like your ego or whatever comes over the crack in the sidewalk and goes, you don't want to come out here. Just stay where you are. This is no good. You're like, but it looks really good there. That seems much better. No, stay there. Horrible things could happen if you try to come up here. But in reality, you make it through that crack in the sidewalk and out of that darkness, and you're going to bloom, and you're going to be beautiful. And it's wonderful. Sometimes a breeze will blow and you think, oh crap, I shouldn't have come out here. But it's worth it to bloom. I promise. Okay. Where was I? So you're afraid that you can't even, like, this isn't even something that will work in your life. The example that is an easy one, so say you want to change your diet. and your spouse is like, no, we're not doing that. And then you're like, but I really want to change the way I eat, or I want to get healthier, or whatever. And they won't support you. So you kind of yield to what they want, because it's just easier to keep everyone happy. And then we just keep doing that, don't we? Like, just keep doing it over and over. Whatever everyone else wants is fine. Until the voice gets, inside of you is going to get too loud, and you're not going to be able to ignore it. So plan ahead. So that has to change, regardless, needless to say. I would set some like non-negotiables for yourself, and set some boundaries for everyone else. Like, this is what I need to do for myself. I'm healing. Just like you would if you were healing from a physical illness. You would say, like, I can't keep going like this. It's not working. I don't have it in me anymore. Like, I need to stop and heal. So and these are just like basic needs. So if you can't squeeze these basic needs into your life for your own good, then you're going to have to do some soul searching about how your life is set up. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but I mean, look around and go, why can't I even make it so I can meet my own basic needs, and I can't get better? Like, what's happening here? So first, I would say connect to yourself, which, I've said it ad nauseum, to meditate. But even like bare minimum, say you're driving in the car, turn the radio off, let some silence in, clear your mind, and then just listen. If a thought comes by, let it go. Remember the dog sitting on a rock. He sees a car, he doesn't have to chase it. And if he does start to chase it, he can come sit back down. Don't start telling yourself stories in your mind about, even one that I always did was, and still do sometimes, is you have a thought and you're like, oh, I'm not good at meditating. You start telling yourself that whole story, and then you just give up on meditating. So don't tell yourself any stories about it. Just observe that you had a thought and let it go. And see if you can't squeeze a little peace into your day that way. If you can, just say, I need to go outside for 15 minutes, or I need to not hear anybody's voice right now. I need time for myself. So connect with nature. I've said that a million times. Get outside, ground yourself, move your body again. Connecting in with nature can really help amplify that feeling of like peace. Another easy one that I brought up was adjust your algorithms. So that's both for like social media and your life. Social media, if you're not interested in something on TikTok, just say, I'm not interested in this. Don't watch it. Don't interact with it, because no matter if you like it or not, they're just watching to see if you're interacting with it, and they'll give you more of it. And it's the same thing in life. Like, don't spend your energy and give your attention to things that are draining you. There's no need for it. You have to go into, I'm in my bubble. Find gratitude and carry that feeling with you. Find joy. Think of, a time when you were just filled with joy, and, did you see someone you loved? The best hug you've ever had, like whatever, like have it ready. So when you can just bring it up. I said the other day, like, I will pretend that I know people, or I used to do that on my commute, and the people that were driving by, I would pretend I knew them. I was excited to see them. And it just kind of like amplified this feeling of joy, that came completely out of my head, but it's, better than anger and ick. So make sure you're getting enough rest. Just like if you're physically sick and healing, you need to give yourself rest and time to heal here too. we get stuck in like fight or flight. And that's another thing with the breath work. Your autonomic nervous system responds to your breathing. You can kind of override your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight, and kick in that parasympathetic nervous system to kind of down regulate. I don't know if that's the right word I want to use, but anyway, to get you out of fight or flight. And if you're constantly feeling like you want to jump out of your skin, you're probably stuck in fight or flight. And be mindful of that, please. So get enough rest. See if you can't slow things down. Unwind. Try to feed yourself well. At least eat. Like, eat and try to eat good food. Try to cut out junk food. Remember, this is, especially, if you've just quit drinking, it helped me a lot to incorporate things that made me just feel good. I just felt good instead of trying to white knuckle my way through not drinking. Like, I'm going to quit drinking, but I'm not going to change anything else. I'm just going to see how I do. Like, that's never worked for me. So, if I quit drinking, I replaced that by, not with junk food, but I would, I ate better food and I started moving my body and drank a lot of water, which is my last piece of advice. But then the whole experience becomes like, I'm feeling better. Overall, I'm feeling better instead of, oh my God, how am I going to live my life without drinking? I made journal pages. They're free on soulunfolding.com. If you want to go grab them, I promise I'm not trying to sell you anything or put you on a mailing list. They're just there because they helped me so much. I made a version of them if you want to use them to see where you're at and make a little plan for, what I'm going to feed my mind and my soul and my body and all that good stuff. So anyway, it doesn't have to be, this healing is not going to be big changes all at once, but please put yourself first. Start somewhere. And even if you just do one little thing that points you in the direction of peace, it's all progress and it will move you towards healing. So that's that. I had to write everything down because I didn't want to ramble, and I had some stuff that I really wanted to tell you guys. I have so much stuff I want to tell you. And I know I say a lot. But the purpose of me even making these videos was to kind of highlight that you're not alone. The fears that you have and the hesitancy is a shared experience. Don't think that you're worse than anyone else, that you're more broken than anyone else, or she doesn't understand because I did this, that, and the other thing. Let it all go. Healing can only happen with love. No more shame, guilt, anger. Forgive yourself, forgive others. There's no point in hanging on to it. It's poison. It's legitimately poison. And this is the work that only you can do. I've said it before that, no one's coming to save you. It all has to come from inside you. But the good news is it's in there. You just have to tap into it. You have to find it. And it's also good because you don't have to wait around for anyone. Like, no more waiting around for someone to come along and deem you worthy of love. That's not necessary. It's all in you. And you are loved. You are worthy of love. You can do this. Okay? All right. So I just hope that now that you're aware of, kind of barriers that might come up for you, that it kind of deflates them a little bit when you do recognize, like, oh, I see what's happening here, that it kind of empowers you to move through instead of just giving up. So remember that only love can heal. Only love is real. That's all that's real. And I am sending you so much love. If you need help, reach out to me. If you need help sorting something out, let me know. If you have any questions, if you have anything that, you want videos about, let me know. I'm happy to help. That's really the only reason I'm here, is to try to help other people. So that's that. Thanks for listening, and I'm sure I will see you soon. Go do main character stuff.